Hello and welcome to another Tabletop Games blog Saturday review.
Bubble, bubble.
The herb witch cackles.
Stir the pot nice and slow,
The miracle doctor says.
Slowly, add another ingredient. What will it be?
The quack surgeon asks, looking at you intently. You reach into the bag with anticipation, not quite sure what ingredient your hand will retrieve.
Come now, come now.
The witch implores.
put it in the pot, don't hesitate.
The miracle doctor tells you, rushing you along. You can't look. You quickly withdraw your hand and throw the ingredient in the pot, and as you do so, you open your eyes a tiny bit and see a flash of white. A cherry bomb lands in the pot with a splash, and a fraction of a second later it explodes. However, it's not too late to seek help from the Herb Witches by Schmidt Spiele. Here's an expansion to the very popular The Quacks of Quedlinburg, which I reviewed not too long ago, see a link in the description below. It adds a new ingredient, the loco weed, new ingredient books, 2 of which replace the original pumpkin and hawkmoth's books, along with a 6th value pumpkin, a 5th player colour, so you can now play with up to 4 friends, and of course the Herb Witches themselves, which give you extra one-off actions. There are also extra tokens and the overflow bowls, which give you extra points if you ever get all the way around your pot. So if you have played the base game a lot, then you might want to give this expansion a go. It will certainly give you some more variety. However, for me there are 2 things from this expansion that I think are worth the purchase alone, and worth buying even if you haven't played the base game to death yet. In fact, it feels like they should have been part of the base game because they complete the Quacks of Quedlinburg for me. First of all, the Herb Witches introduce a nice element that allows you a bit of more control of the randomness. There are 3 basic types of witches, gold, silver and copper, and each type comes in a number of varieties, very much like the ingredient books change the function of the ingredients. At the start of the game, you're given 3 coins, 1 gold, 1 silver and 1 copper, and during the game at certain stages you can spend the coins to get the help of a specific witch, but only once. The coins aren't replenished during the game, and if you don't use them, are worth points at the end of the game. Some witches are there during the evaluation phase, allowing you to negate the effect of your pot exploding, for example. Others can be used during the victory point phase, allowing you to get points for the ingredients remaining in your bag, for example. And there are also witches that help during the purchase phase, allowing you to get extra chips for free, for example. Not only do they create more variety, but they also allow you to reduce the effects of misfortunes. If used cleverly, they can even help you win. At first I kept forgetting to spend my coins when it would have been really beneficial, but it didn't take long to settle in, so it does take a game or 2 to get used to them. You're supposed to choose 1 of each type, of which randomly, but of course you can house rule that and select those that you like best, and you can even leave them out altogether if you wish, but I think that would be a real shame. The other thing that comes in this expansion are the ingredient books 5 and 6. They introduced a new ingredient, loco weed, which is nice, but in my view isn't really that interesting. What's more important to me are the way they changed the ingredients from the base game. Especially set number 6 is my favourite. Suddenly the green garden spiders are much more valuable and useful. There are now also a wonderful interplay between the crow skulls and mandrakes, whereby the former gives you rubies while the latter needs rubies. It's great when it works. The ghost breath has also become much more interesting, and the toadstools get a clever twist. There is also now an ingredient book that replaces the original pumpkins and adds a 6th value pumpkin, which is very expensive, but can be a deciding factor in the end game. If you can buy 2 of those over the rounds and be lucky enough to draw them out for every time, your victory is almost guaranteed. To me, these 2 things alone are definitely worth the purchase of the expansion, and if you played the base game so much that you can almost play it in your sleep, then the Herb Witches is definitely for you. Thank you for listening to this Tabletop Games blog Saturday review podcast. Please check the description below for links mentioned in this episode, as well as to the written version of this article on the blog. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, give us some stars or leave a review. Please also tell your friends about me, and if you want to offer financial support, check out my Patreon and Ko-fi pages, links to which you'll find in the blog at tabletopgamesblog.com. So thank you again for listening, and I hope to see you again soon. This podcast was made possible by the generous help of my Patreon supporters: Royal Patron Sean Newman, Castle Guard David Miller, Dice Masters Alex Bardi, Paul Grogan and James Naylor, and Shining Lights Robin Kay, Sarah Reed, Tim Wernick, and We're Not Wizards.